So far, what we have discussed in our previous videos is regarding the valuation of financial asset because it is a process to assess the worth of the assets like fixed income securities and variable securities. Fixed income securities, we primarily talk about the bonds, whereas in variable income securities, we are going to discuss about the equity shares. As an investor is always interested in knowing the intrinsic value or a fair value or the price of the security before taking any investment decision. An investor, individual as well as institutional, they do invest in equity shares. And what is motive behind the motive behind investing in any equity shares is to get a dividend income, and that is the stream or the future dividends from the companies that is on regular interval. And second one is the to earn a capital profit at the time of resale, or you can say that resale price of equity shares after some time when he is no longer wanted or interested in holding the shares of that particular company. The owner of share receives dividend as a compensation for investing in the firm. So as long as the firm is operating profitability or profitably and the investor hold the share, he would be expecting to receive a dividend from the company. So it is based on certain assumption that these dividends are payable annually, and the first dividend is received after 1 year or at the end of first year from the date of acquisition or purchase. And third one is the sale of equity shares, if any shareholder doesn't want to continue as a shareholder, he may sell, but only at the end of a year. So when we talk about the valuation of equity share, it is calculated by applying a basic valuation model defined as equal to the present value of all future benefits which share is expected to provide in the form of dividends over an infinite period. So generally what happen, जो भी आपके शेयर्स होते हैं आपको कुछ ना कुछ वो इनफ्लोज प्रोवाइड करते हैं, दैट इज फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज. सो कैश फ्लो फर्स्ट ईयर हो गया आपका, सेकेंड ईयर होगा, एंड सो ऑन अप टू एन नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स. सो कैश फ्लो फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस रिक्वायर्ड रेट ऑफ अ रिटर्न. ये हमारे पास कुछ एक जनरल फॉर्मूला है, दैट इज द बेसिक वैल्यूएशन मॉडल which which shows that value of the security at present is, and this one is the cash flow expected at the end of year, first, second, so on up to the n number of years. And this is 1 plus k stand for that is the appropriate discount rate or discounting rate of a return for first year, second year, and so on up to the n number of years. So uh, the future selling price, जो हमारे पास एक एग्जाम्पशन है थर्ड, दैट इज सेल ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स इफ एनी. जनरल डिविडेंड्स आपके पास रिसीव होगा एंड फर्स्ट डिविडेंड इज ऑलवेज रिसीव्ड एट द एंड ऑफ फर्स्ट ईयर. जो ये थर्ड एग्जाम्पशन है दैट इज द सेल ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स इन इफ एनी अकर्स ओनली एट द एंड ऑफ अ ईयर. इसमें आपके पास क्या है, दैट द फ्यूचर सेलिंग प्राइस एंड कैपिटल गेन और लॉस इफ एनी, अगर वो शेयर होल्डर सेल आउट करता है अपना इक्विटी शेयर्स held by him, if any, is ignored because theoretically speaking, what is sold is the right to all future subsequent dividend. Because अगर आप सेल आउट भी करोगे तो कोई थर्ड पार्टी उसको परचेज करेगी, थर्ड पार्टी परचेज करेगी तो उसके लिए भी तो कुछ परचेज प्राइस होगा. सो ये आपका सेल ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स क्या होता है, इग्नोर किया जाता है. किस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, प्रैक्टिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, थियोरेटिकली आपके पास सिर्फ ये है. सो फ्रॉम वैल्यूएशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, only the infinite stream, that is to get a dividend income, that is dividend income and on annual basis. So this is relevant from valuation point of view. So we can define what is valuation of equity share. It is the sum of the present values of future cash flow which is in the form of dividends discounted at the required rate of a return of the investor. So we can modify our basic valuation model in the form so that we can calculate the present value or intrinsic value of equity shares. That is, This is your formula for calculating valuation of equity shares, where P0 stand for the value of equity share or intrinsic value that you are going to find out. D1 is the expected dividend over the year. See, these are the dividends over the year that you are going to receive annually, and 1 plus KE for first year, at the end of first year, at the end of second year, and so on up to the infinite period time. So KE is the required rate of a return of equity investors. So this is based on assumption, not an assumption, it is the criteria that it is hold for infinite period of a time. Now say if an investor buys an equity shares and plans to hold it only for 2 years, so his cash flow would comprise of two dividend for first year and for second year, and a selling price. So the formula in that case will be this: dividend for the first year, 1 plus k required rate of return; dividend for second year, 1 plus k required rate of return; and next thing is the price at that, this P2 is known as expected selling price at the end of year 2. Now the value of equity shares in this case at the end of year 2 depends upon the future dividend after 2 years. Future after 2 years, in other words, you can say that the value of equity share at the end of 2 year P2, it totally depends upon the subsequent dividend. So investors buying the share at the end of 2 year plans to hold a share for another 3 years. So again, you can change that formula. Now your formula will be like this. Now your current price will be P2. This will be your current price. Now you will calculate dividend for the third year, so it will be d3 upon 1 plus ke for first, plus dividend 4, this is 1 plus ke for second, plus dividend 5 divided by 4, 1 plus ke for third year. And if he's selling, again selling after 3 years, then it will be P5 because he's selling it at the end of fifth year. So this will be his expected selling price at the end of fifth year divided by 1 plus KE, that is the required rate of return at the end of third year. But on the basis of basic valuation model, these future selling prices or future gain, capital gain or loss, if any, is ignored, because theoretically what is sold is the right to all future subsequent dividend, because जो भी आप ये dividend receive करोगे वो इस basis पे ही receive करोगे. So that is why it is ignored, that is future selling price, जो third assumption हमारे पास थी. So this is just the theoretical concept before we go into practical part of valuation of equity